Hi everyone, I am back to do the cover of this piece of music which was first uncovered by Leadbelly, and that is the In the Pines, or Where Did You Sleep Last Night? I listened to Leadbelly's version, and if you've seen that video yesterday, then you know how taken I was by it. And I'm having a hard time imagining anyone being able to give a better delivery than that one. Because, as I said, it was beautiful. I could say it was exquisite. It was something that I would be afraid to touch. Well, of course, this is the weekend that is covering the tie, along with The Sound of Silence, which my Patreon group chose as well, and the poll tied with this one, In the Pines. And it's interesting to notice that both of these are kind of folk originating, or at least folk singer originating, because Simon and Garfunkel covered this up. Originated The Sound of Silence, and now Leadbelly uncovered In the Pines. So it makes a nice tie, a nice pair, and thank you to all of you who voted and helped bring both of these to my listening attention. So let me see what I have to read here about this, and then we'll listen to it. Nirvana's MTV Unplugged version was filmed on November 18, 1993 in New York City, just 4 months before Kurt took his own life on April 5, 1994, at age 27. That cover of the song, oh, and I should mention that Vlad has told me just before we turn the cameras on that I'm going to be watching a video of this because it is a live performance, it's not a studio recording. So that's going to be interesting, again, because the uncovered Leadbelly version, as I said, it felt so sincere and genuine, and it's going to be interesting to see how this, even in a live setting, comes across. That cover of the song has earned Kurt Cobain acclaim from critics and other musicians and artists. In 1994, American poet Allen Ginsberg recalled that a couple weeks ago, one of my students gave me a mixed tape of Kurt Cobain, and there was a version of Black Girl of great artistry. Great vocal control and subtlety. It's almost as good as Leadbelly's. Oof. Okay. We shall see. Canadian musician Neil Young described Cobain's vocals during the final screamed verse as unearthly, like a werewolf, unbelievable. In 2013, Andrew Wallace Chamings of The Atlantic wrote that it ranks among the greatest single rock performances of all time. The show's producer, Alex Coletti, recalled Cobain declining his suggestion to perform an encore after Where Did You Sleep Last Night, which was the final song of the set, telling him that, "I don't think we can top the last song," at which point Coletti relented. I guess Kurt Cobain even knew that he did a fabulous job. Well, this gives me a bit of hope. First of all, because my patrons chose it for me, and I have come to feel pretty comfortable with your choices because I know that you all know what you're talking about. But I am still incredibly curious. How did he put this one out there? Let's see how it sounds.
Fuck you all, this is the last song of the evening.
What is it?
This was written by
What?
my favorite performer. Our favorite performer, isn't it? All of ours? You like him the best?
Ah, it was... Right, that's the comment. It was written by our favorite performer. It's okay. But that's where it came from.
And there's a donation basket for Kurt wants to buy Leadbelly's guitar.
Oh yeah, this guy representing the Leadbelly estate wants to sell me Leadbelly's guitar for $500,000.
Passing a basket if anybody.
Yeah. I even asked David Geffen personally if he'd buy it for me. He wouldn't do it.
he's so unassuming and casual, and let's pass the basket around, basket, a hat, whatever you want it to be. You know, help me buy this guitar for $500,000. Oh, I even asked so-and-so. And he's wearing this kind of shaggy sweater and interacting with the audience in a very natural, easygoing, casual manner, which is really quite nice, actually, because there are times when the audience or the environment wants a performer to put on a performance and to really present and perform oneself. But there are also times when you really want to connect with the audience. And actually, it's one of the challenges in a formal setting. How do you get your music? How do you connect personally with the audience that's way out there in the dark? So it's nice to see this sort of informal setting where everybody clearly appreciates the artist and is enjoying the conversation, the banter, the interaction. At the same time, he's not putting on airs, and that's a lovely thing to see.
Okay.
Different type of intro.
My girl, don't lie to me. Tell me, when did you sleep last night? In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine, I would shiver the whole night through. Girl, my girl, where will you go? I'm going where the cold wind blows. In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine, I would shiver the whole night through.
It's interesting because in Leadbelly's version, I commented on how he sings shiver, and it really caught me. And now I'm hearing a different kind of shiver. And the shiver isn't the one that catches me so much here, but the way he sings the whole night through afterwards. There's the way he's treating it with his voice puts the emphasis there, which is an interesting thing to notice between the two. One is emphasizing shiver, and the other one puts our attention on the whole night through. I have to say, he started out on a pretty strong foot. Let's keep going.
Whole night through. Her husband was a hard-working man, just about a mile from here. His head was found in a driving wheel, but his body never was found. My girl, don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine, I would shiver the whole night through. Shiver for me.
I had to pause in this same place on the Lead Belly version. This, you could call it a break, but this unsung verse, in the Lead Belly version, it was there. It was more, when he said shiver for me, it was more, you knew something was coming, but you didn't know exactly what. And it took me about halfway through that verse to figure out, this is, I was waiting for him to start singing again, but, I'm supposed to be hearing this myself. In this version, well, of course, they have a lot more going on instrumentally, which kind of helps. And it's used in such a way, they've arranged it in such a way that it really directs us and channels us into this from the very start of the verse. Well, maybe it's partly because I wasn't so surprised by it this time. It's my second time hearing the song. But I think it's more than that. Because I think even if I hadn't heard the song, if this was my first hearing of the song here in this moment, I think that I would have more quickly picked up on the fact that there is a melody going on and this is a verse that is not being sung. Partly because of the cello. You saw my eyes light up when I saw the cello, and it's giving that sort of melodic sustain which walks us into the melody.
Where the sun don't ever shine, I would shiver the whole night through. Shiver for girl, where will you go? I'm going where the cold wind blows. In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine, I would shiver the whole night through.
You look so cool. That was amazing. Like, I know we just did a good job. Signing autographs. Just walking through the audience. He's not even standing in one place waiting for the audience to come to him. He's like, let me just walk down the line here. Anybody want an autograph? Here. Just climb through the crowd. Well, that was incredible. And I'll admit I went into it with a little bit of prejudice against it simply because I loved the Lead Belly version so much. I truly did. And as impressive as beautiful as his opening here in this performance was, I was like, okay, fine, it's nice, I can tolerate this. It's not bad. It's not destroying the original, but it's not the one that I fell in love with. But as it moved along and the momentum and the power of it built, and then the instruments started coming in, and I had this feeling of almost resistance to it, like, don't destroy it with instruments. Don't destroy it with instruments. It has drums. Really, what are they going to do with the drums? Are they going to just mess it up with the drums? Is everybody thrilled because it has a bunch of bashing drums in it? But as it went along, I began to get into it. He pulled me into it in spite of my resistance against it. That in itself is quite a compliment, because when I don't want to love something, for you,
What happened?
for you to make me love something, I am impressed. And well, okay, it's true. I was determined to keep an open mind, but I couldn't imagine how he could have made this a great cover. But he did. And one of the things I want to comment on was the drums, because yes, at first I was like, why put drums in here? Why? But then as it went along, just those little ching, ching, light touches. And partway through, I began to realize that they are part of the environment. Have you ever walked through a pine forest? Try walking through barefoot. You don't have to, but you know what it's like. You know what it's like on the ground. All the pine needles are covering the ground, and they all have these little sharp ends. Poke, poke, poke. You don't have to walk through you don't have to walk through barefoot. Just walk through, and maybe sit down somewhere, and rub your hand across the ground, and you feel those little poke, poke. And it was as if the percussion was almost giving that textural quality of being in a pine forest with these little needles poking, just a little here and there. It was, probably they didn't think about that when they were putting it together, but the balance was so good, and it took me into this story world, this land of dark pine forest, and all the questioning and yearning and passion and the dark as well as the light, which comes through in these folk lyrics. Really well done. I guess I would compare this as it was coming to the end, and it was becoming more grand, more epic, and his voice was, who was it said, it was like a werewolf coming out. It was this primal passion and cry coming from some eternity past through the soul of this person. And I began to feel like I was wrong to assume that nobody could handle this song as well as Leadbelly. I was right, at least to date, to assume that nobody could handle it like Leadbelly. This is an entirely different version of it, an entirely different interpretation, presentation, and you feel it completely differently, but beautifully, passionately. And I guess I would compare it to some of the classical singers who perform folk songs. Let's take a singer whose voice I really enjoy, and that is Bryn Terfel. He's a Welsh opera singer, quite legendary. He's done several albums of Welsh folk songs, and I remember hearing some of them so rich and warm and lush and tender. It partly has to do with the orchestration around it. It partly has to do with his voice. And of course, it's not at all like you would expect those songs to have been sung in a folk style. But oh, it's beautiful. And it's the same way with this one. This is not at all like a folk song anymore. But oh, isn't it beautiful? And so, well, you proved yourselves right. This is a fabulous cover, a really great cover. The original also. You know, sometimes the original is maybe not terribly strong, or in this case, I should say the uncover, although this one was. And it takes another artist to come and see the potential in the music and cover it in a fresh way and bring out all the beautiful colors within that music that perhaps the original composer, artist, okay, it was a nice little piece, they did it, but it wasn't anything that really shone. But in this case, I feel like there is no way that I could choose one better than the other. They are each beautiful in their very own way. And I love that. I truly love that. I love the fact that music is so universal and can speak in so many different ways. And I think this is a fabulous example of don't get too attached to one version of it, or you might miss out on something else somewhere along the way. Keep your imaginative, imaginary, creative juices flowing, because maybe, even though you think somebody has done the perfect performance, maybe you have something to bring to it that is yet unspoken. And that, I guess, is the core of the matter. What do you have to give through your creation, your art? Because both of these, I can say that both of these are sincere performances. Sincere and unassuming and unpretentious. And because of that genuine human quality, it comes from within. I guess that is what I feel makes each of these so incredibly great. Well, thank you all again, my patrons who voted for these both. I'm looking forward to what you choose next from whatever list Vlad puts up, and it's going to be a fun discovery ahead of me. I'll see you soon.